My name is Philippa. I married the most wonderful man last year, Martin, but his mother has been a nightmare to deal with. She is in her early 60s and refused to even try and learn about modern technology. Take today, for example, when she came for a visit to our house. I was working on my computer in my lounge, and she came in to berate me.
You should get off that computer thing and try to make something of yourself. You shouldn't be relying on my son to keep the house in order.
He doesn't. We both contribute to the house. Please let me explain how these computers work. It'll make your life much easier.
Not at all. I survived without it so far, and I will continue to do better without it. All you've done is sit around on that thing. Why on earth would I be interested in trying it?
But I'm not just sitting around on it. I'm working. I have my own business. I'm at the forefront of my sector. I'm not a layabout. I'm not lazy. Please, stop accusing me of these things.
I suppose the biggest disappointment is that I know he could do better. Much, much better. You know, in high school, he used to date this girl that was really smart. I called her mother the other day and found out that she was a professor at some big university and already had tenure. And for whatever reason, he broke up with her, and now he's stuck with you.
It's like I was talking to the wall for all the response I was getting. Fortunately, Martin came into the room at that moment.
I'll thank you, Mother, not to talk about my wife like that. She's more accomplished than Gina could ever hope to be, and if you bothered to learn anything about the internet, you'd understand. Besides, Gina broke up with me because she wanted no distractions for her career aspirations. I respected that. So should you.
If you say so, Martin, I'm sure you know best.
But let's put this argument to rest, okay? We both give as much to this house as each other. Please stop harassing her.
I think Martin and I both understood that she would never actually stop. But there was nothing we could do. It couldn't be helped because she was just too stuck in her ways and refused to learn or change. Then we had no chance of teaching her anything. Unfortunately, it meant my character was constantly in question. Not even a day later, after Martin had gone to work and I had set up in the kitchen with a giant mug of milk, his mother came over again. Oh, hello. I didn't expect to see you today.
I suppose I should have emailed you about it. That's how you talk to each other, isn't it?
You could have simply told me about it. That would have been fine, too.
I doubt you'd have heard a word. Your generation never listens.
How would you know since your generation doesn't know how to say anything worthwhile?
I can't believe you would be so rude to me after my son let you live with him free of charge.
That's not what's happening here. I pay 50% of the mortgage. Anything I buy for myself, I buy out of my paycheck.
Aha, lie! He bought you that smart watch.
It was a gift.
Well, I heard that you were forcing my son to clean the house, even though he's out of the house during the day. How could you explain that? As if he's not working hard enough.
We share the responsibilities. And I know for a fact that he's fine with it. So please don't make it look like I'm being really lazy. I work really hard. It just looks passive because it's a desk job.
You're not even at a desk. Anyway, I'm going to do the job that every woman should be doing. Maybe you can learn something.
I locked myself in my office and put my headphones on. No doubt she was cleaning around the house and muttering disparaging comments about me under her breath. It had been a very busy day, and by the time that I was finished, all I wanted to do was watch a film with my husband and enjoy a tall glass of wine. Unfortunately, when I took off my headphones, I could hear the vacuum upstairs, and I knew she wasn't yet finished. I left my office and found Martin sitting with his head in his hands at the kitchen table. Babe?
She's never going to leave. She's been cleaning upstairs for an hour. I had to lock our bedroom door because I knew she was going to try and sneak to look around.
Don't worry about it. Let's just tell her it's time to go home. Work today gave me a headache, and all I want to do is drink wine and watch a movie with my best friend and husband who is also the most handsome man in the whole world. Martin laughed, which helped melt away most of the tension. However, when it came time to send his mother home, the tension came swarming back.
I just want you to know that despite all your claims that your wife is working hard, I saw the truth today. She didn't lift a finger to help around the house. She just locked herself in her office and played games on her computer.
She finally left, and we relaxed into the sofa, watching a movie. It was just what we both needed to calm down and relax after our stressful days. Between the influx of a dozen new clients, the stress of my mother-in-law's constant judgment, and the accumulation of days without a break, I was ready to collapse. We should take a vacation. How about we invite your sister and her husband along?
I'm not sure they'll be able to afford it. They just bought their first house, remember?
Well, I'll pay for them to come with. Their anniversary is coming up, right?
They'll really appreciate that. I know they will.
It took a few weeks, but eventually we both booked off 2 weeks and invited his sister and her husband on holiday, explaining that it was an anniversary gift. We were all set to go, until the day before our flight, my mother-in-law arrived at the house in a furious storm. She threw the door open and looked angrily at our suitcases.
When were you going to tell me that you were going on holiday?
I wasn't ever planning on telling you. I don't know why you would have expected me to.
You think you can just bully my son into paying for you to go on vacation and leave me out of it? I know he's paying for my daughter and son-in-law too. You purposefully excluded me.
What makes you think Martin paid for this trip?
You expect me to believe you paid for it? With what? The money you make playing online games?
She was so busy cackling at her own joke that she didn't even notice Martin coming in.
Mother, if you must know, Philippa is the one who paid for the holiday. She runs a very successful business online, and just because you don't understand how that works, doesn't mean that it's acceptable for you to make assumptions about her work ethic based on nothing. In fact, not only has Philippa paid for this holiday for the 4 of us, but she's the one who put the deposit down on the house and earns more than triple what I do. I'm very fortunate to be married to someone who works so hard, and it's only because of her strict work-life balance rules that I get to see her at all. So, we're going on vacation tomorrow, and we're going to enjoy ourselves, and nothing you say or do will change that.
So, you're paying for my daughter to go, but not me?
You can't seriously be surprised by that. You've been nothing but rude to me this entire time. You're my mother-in-law, so you had the opportunity to be nicer, but you weren't. I need a break, not more stress. I felt guilty for everything I said, because at the end of the day, she was still my husband's mother. But I wasn't wrong, and I knew I wasn't. I suspected that she realized it too, but she was stuck in her ways. Instead of taking the easy way out and apologizing, she doubled down.
I can't believe you've convinced him that you're working, but I know better. I've heard enough about the internet to know how some women make money there. Don't let her fool you, Martin. She's some kind of whore.
That is enough. Get out of our house now. If you're not going to respect us, then I won't allow you to stay here. She's done more than enough to earn your respect, and if you refuse to acknowledge that, then that's your fault, not ours.
I knew it was hard for Martin to dismiss his mother, but I was proud of him for it. When we eventually set off for our holiday, the 4 of us had a fantastic time. At least we did until we were called by the police about our house. The police had apprehended a person that had broken into our house. Although we felt guilty about it, we knew we had to end our vacation early, and so we left my husband's sister and brother-in-law at the resort and rushed home. When we arrived, we found out that my mother-in-law had broken in and had torn my office apart and had even smashed my computer. Part of me wanted to press charges against her, and both my husband and I were tempted to do so. But in the end, we didn't. Instead, we offered her a deal that we knew that she wouldn't turn down. Especially considering the great news that I had just learned prior to leaving for vacation. Listen here, this needs to stop right now. We have every right to press charges against you for not only breaking into our house, but for also destroying our property. However, we will be willing to drop those charges if you agree to see a therapist.
And why would I do that?
Because if you don't, Mother, then we will cut ties with you, and you will never be able to meet your first grandchild.
We could tell that she was shocked to hear the news, and it was only then that she finally became open to the idea that maybe she was the problem after all. Thankfully, the fear of never seeing her grandchild was enough to finally snap her out of her bad behavior. Slowly, she nodded her head and began to cry.
Okay, I'll go to see this therapist.
Both Martin and I were ecstatic, and we made arrangements for her immediately. Although it was a slow process, as the months passed, we did begin to see a change in my mother-in-law. She stopped making rude comments about my job, and actually started asking questions about exactly what I did. What really helped was when I hired my sister-in-law to work with me, that my mother-in-law really took an interest. I can't tell you how many times she apologized to my husband and I for her past bad behavior, and by the time our son was born, she had changed into a completely different person. So much so that for her birthday, we bought her a tablet so that she could take photos of her new grandson and share them with her friends. It was such a relief that things had changed so drastically for the better. Thanks for watching.